This is a Power 98.7 podcast. Now we're talking. Subscribe to Power 98.7 podcasts in iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts. There's more on power987.co.za.
Rishi Lehos, economy njani? Great to hear from you. Great to hear. It's been forever. Yeah.
I said you great work all the time, and I was just laughing. And I said, no. I'm going to tell my brother, put some respect on the Bemba people, by the way.
Well, I know the Bemba people from northern Zambia.
Yeah, that is actually the biggest tribe in Zambia. It's the Bemba people. And when they treat it, they'll be saying, hey, Mursani.
Turibwino, Murishani. Yes. No, I know the Bemba tribe very well. Yeah.
And they're a big tribe in Zambia. And you've got them, and you've got our cousins. They are the Tenkuni people in the eastern province. They're actually like Zulu people. And you've got our other cousins in the western part of Zambia. They are called the Lozi people. When they speak, it is like Sesotho when they speak to Lozi.
Kibarozi, like that's why we have that in the other parts of the years. Yeah.
They greet you, how are you? That's the Lozi people speaking. So I say, come on. And I just laughed. I say, hey, great show. All the best, my brother. Do a great job. Yeah, put some respect. Those are the Bemba people.
Thank you so much, Mieshe. Great to hear from you, Mieshe in Centurion. Yes, look, as much as I say, the Americans, for them, Africa is one place. Tell you how. And I mean, people sometimes think this is a joke, where when you are in America and somebody says, you are saying I'm from South Africa, they're like, I know Uche from Nigeria to know him. I'm like, guy, do you know the distance between South Africa and Nigeria? And you know what I always say? Yeah. No, I actually cross the river and then wait for the elephants and the thing to drink, and then I go and see Uche. Because that's what they want to hear. So you actually cross the Crocodile River to go and see Uche? I'm like, yeah.
Consistently stupid. You did say that.
No, American guys, and I'm saying if there's any American who's listening who wants to challenge me, I dare you. 0861987000. Y'all are stupid. Anyway, let's move on to this conversation now. We are joined in studio by Bonamelo Moloi, founder and chairperson of Bonamelo Melisizwe Foundation. We are talking about building resilience through mindset, small steps, and support from adversity to action. Bonamelo shares how empowering youth and fostering leadership helps communities bounce back stronger and thrive. Bonamelo, good morning.
Good morning, Dr. Kwena. How are you, sir?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing very awesome, thank you.
Okay, let me throw you a curveball. What makes you African? What makes you a member of the Babimba tribe? What makes you African?
I think the power of belonging is amazing because it's from a rich history. Every human being, I think, finds themselves in the history of their identity. My surname, for example, Moloi, but I did not just take that from the tree. It came from somewhere, and our rich culture and heritage helps me celebrate Bosotobak. So being African as well stems from that we have such a rich culture and heritage and diversity. And if the stats are still as they stand, I believe we are the majority of the population as well. So we are the light of the earth.
Absolutely. Let's talk resilience. One of the most valued traits a person can develop. When I asked Wu what makes him African, he spoke about resilience, the power of survival through adversity, through all these things. Talk to us about that, why it's important, resilience being built on adversity, as it were.
I think in my growing experience, Dr. Kwena, I've come to learn that everyone who has a great story to tell has a great pain that they've overcome. Either they've overcome or they are using it as their daily fuel to keep on working on their great story. So adversity is seemingly sometimes very important towards working the outcome you wish to see. And I think we need to get to a point where we don't see it as though things are against us, but we see it as an opportunity for us to keep talking about our stories of overcoming.
I mean, again, I'm one of the people who, and as much as I understand and I get the whole thing of you know, the bumps on the road and all these things shape you into a better person, but I always say that we should not thrive for adversity in the name of resilience.
Yes.
That when things go smooth, we need to embrace that also, isn't it?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's like in any 12 months, Kwena. In any 12 months, there are seasons. So it's very important that what you are saying, we keep very conscious, because I know I come from a township background, and it's almost as though when you hit that smooth sailing road, then you don't understand what
you're almost been taken as a sellout, kokas, or you know.
Absolutely, sir.
Yeah.
So it's almost as though the more you embrace and linger and, you know, cook in your adversity, the more I think resilient you are. You know, which I believe is the wrong message, because with every season, there's winter, there's autumn, there's spring, and there's summer. You know, there have to be days where it's smooth, as you put it, Kwena. There has to be days that you can come back and testify to say that it might be winter now, but I know summer is coming.
Talk to me then about adaptability, which I think is very important to the resilience when it comes to adversity. Using your example of winter, that it's winter now, you need to adapt to the winter and then ride it through, and then the sun will come back again. And how you adjust, or you know, you put on clothes, you make sure that you're warm, you know, and all those things. Talk to me about that adaptability, but in life, not only in seasons, in life, in a workplace, that creates that spirit and culture of resilience.
Let me try and reference from my own story, Kwena, and to say that, for example, I am learning every day that the pursuit of identity is something so paramount. It empowers me on a daily basis to know exactly the areas at which I need to work at that make me to adapt. I'm learning that it's not a blanket thing that you can just adapt to anything. We are not chameleons as human beings. You don't just sit on the surface and assume it's color. However, when you are pursuing a life of purpose, there are certain things that find you, to groom you, to adapt towards, in order for you to keep refining what you proclaim to be your identity, what you proclaim to be your gifting, your ministry that has brought you to this earth. So being able to adapt, for example, as the head of our nonprofit in youth development, there's this misinformation, for example, that once you are an NPO, everyone wants to fund you, everyone, you know, wants to support you, and this, that, and the other. That can, of course, apply to many other industries. But as I said, I'll speak to my journey thus far. Now, I have come to own that it is my ministry to respond to helping people. That is not dependent on whether Kwena comes through and says, you will only do that if I give you this. So my ability to adapt is one that pushes me to what I wake up for every day, which is my purpose of building lives, and it starts with the very little that I have. And whether or not there's support from outside or not, I need to adapt. I need to wake up for that thing that I have owned, that this is my purpose, to help a life of in any small way, you know. So I hope that answers your question.
No, for sure. And while we're there, talk to us about what you guys do as the Bonamelo Melisizwe Foundation, especially when it comes to issues of young people and empowerment.
We are established in the Davidton Township, city of Ekurhuleni.
Do you play football? Have you ever played football?
Yes, I have.
Okay. You know why I'm asking? Clever Davidton claims that they know football. I promise you, I've never met a guy also Uncle Davidton who doesn't claim or I don't get blind disc.
I've played it. Niggas are blind.
I promise you, clever blind. I'm like,
but it's true.
Oh, peace. As you were saying before you were rudely interrupted about youth empowerment.
Yes, sir. And we are blessed to date since our formal establishment. We've just turned 3 this Jan as a registered organization. And we've had the blessed opportunity through various programs that align to youth. And we are counting now just... I think one of our executive members was telling me that we've just hit the over 10,000 mark of people we have directly reached.
That's beautiful.
Through our campaigns. And that can be through dignity preservation, and for young women, that would be sanitary pads and menstrual education and awareness. And for the young men as well, same applies, health and wellness programs. We've just recently been to a school where we were giving hygiene packs as well, and educating the boy child about cleanliness, and why it's important as well. So part of our growing journey has always been to be a skills development arm for supporting what everyone else is doing out there, be it educational institutions, but most importantly is to try and liberate the black child, because when stats come that of unemployment and poverty, it might not be a racial thing, but it does happen that it's mostly our black people that are affected by it. So we want to play a helping hand to try and see how we can help alleviate that. And we've just adopted just under 30 unemployed young people for our first full year program in digital skills literacy. So those are some of the things that we've been doing. And just to say a little bit more about myself as well, prior to the 3 year of registration, I personally have been working on, acts of kindness for well over a period of 10 years.
And I mean, it's quite fulfilling when you do that. Like when you're generally giving to people. I want to talk about, in the interest of time, we don't really have that much time left.
Yeah.
You touched briefly on a few things like starting small, the small steps that we take. Talk to me about that, because normally when we do projects, be it work, be it anything else, there is this concept of starting small, but a lot of us are in a hurry to get to the big picture. Why is it important for people, especially again to our theme of resilience, to start small, take those baby steps and build until you are strong enough, to get where you want to go?
I often say to people that I think the world is trying to steal the truth from us. There's really no rush to anything. You are not late for anything. And I use the analogy of from conception to birth date, it took you 9 months. However, you are called a baby right when you were an egg that was fertilized. You are called a human being before you were even embraced to come out, and people were gathered around to help us receive you. You've never stopped being a human being, even whilst at a fertilized egg stage, So it took you 9 months to get out and say hi, but you've always been a human being. It took you an additional, on average, let's say plus minus 17, 18 years to finish matric. You are still considered a nonsensible person, for lack of a better term then. So you can't even be trusted with your own decisions. So it takes you about 20 years for someone to trust you with your own judgment, so to speak. There is no way you are late for anything. Everything has got process. You just need to understand where you are, what you are responding to, and investigate the process you need to
follow.
But
we are not patient, my guy. Patience is not something. I know it's a virtue, but it's not easy. I mean, I think last week we were talking about to somebody, and I was saying about even how sometimes Christians, we get impatient with God when we pray. Praying for a better job or for something that I'm looking for and it's not happening. So we have a tendency to do that, and it's not easy to stay that. But as we wind down the conversation quickly, what would you say, and especially for people who are at that stage of impatience, whether you're starting a business, whether you're just not having things happening your way and you feel like, okay, I've been resilient enough, I can't take this anymore, I can't do this anymore.
If you have woken up this morning, that means it's not over. That alone is proof of life. If you are listening to Kwena and I this morning, it means that your senses are still working. So, in starting small, teach yourself to identify the little things that are going right in your life. It has taught me to see life from a different perspective, because that one big thing you are chasing, no matter how long it's taking to come together, it can sometimes cripple you in thinking that nothing is going right. Whereas when you count the things that are going right in your life, it can help recharge how you perceive things, and to make sure that you don't find yourself in a trap of anxiety, as though no one cares, nothing is happening, and therefore you are not potentially going to win. That is number one. Number two, there is always someone who's rooting for you. Always. No matter how much of a failure you may think you are, there will always be one person who says, don't worry, G, things are going to turn around. Stick around those people more than the ones that confirm your story that you are not going somewhere. And those can be some of the little steps that you take today and help nourish those relationships that want a better tomorrow for you than the ones that confirm your anxious state at this moment that things are not going right. And perhaps we can start there.
All right, fantastic. For people that want to find out more about you, about your foundation, where and how do they get information or get in touch with you?
We are on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. It's Bonamelo Melisizwe Foundation for Instagram and Facebook. And it's Bonamelo _Melisizwe on TikTok. I'm on LinkedIn as Bonamelo Moloi. You can find me there. And we are also on YouTube. So we are growing our presence there on YouTube as well. So, and we've got actual premises, Kokasi. So if you would like to come and see what we do, you are more than welcome. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. We are getting there.
Bonamelo, thank you so much for coming through to speak to us. I appreciate your time and your insight. Do check them out. That is the founder and chairperson of the Bonamelo Melisizwe Foundation, Bonamelo Moloi, talking to us. And we're talking on our Monday Motivation today. We're talking about...
You've been listening to a Power 98.7 podcast. For more podcasts, visit power987.co.za or subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.